Hey, everybody. It's the Bradshaw Boys.
Hey, everybody.
And we just want to let you know that this is not the end of the Bradshaw Boys. This may be the end of And Just Like That, but this is not the end of our adventure consuming, discussing, and having fun with interesting, cool content that you all love.
Right. You are about to hear our finale episode of And Just Like That. But we also want to let you know, maybe you're a new listener. Mm-hmm. Maybe you've been listening to us forever. But we're going to have lots of other things after season 1 of And Just Like That is done.
We're going to watch rom-coms. We're going to stay involved in other... we're going to be doing all kinds of podcasts, as many as we've been doing. We've done over 300 podcasts, and we plan to do 300 more. Mm-hmm. And we also think there will be a season 2 of And Just Like That, and we just don't. We want you to check in with us and stay with us before that happens.
And we can keep watching Sex and the City episodes like Salt Bay, like salt dripping down his elbow, just little also, morsels of Sex and the City
also
here and there.
Little known fact: Salt Bay is also the guy that Seema is dating.
Hey, boss.
But yeah, I mean, like we are saying this now because. If you are not familiar with the Bradshaw Boys and you came to us because you're watching And Just Like That, we had already watched Sex and the City once. We were rewatching it again, and there's going to be even more And Just Like That stuff we're going to cover because there's a documentary about it we want to watch.
And I won't be vague because I don't want to bury the lead, but I just found out that my commercial agent. We have the same agent as Debbie.
Boom.
Wow.
Steve's girlfriend.
It's out there.
Wait, you're talking about Steve's second wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Steve's second wife, Debbie.
I drunkenly emailed her, and she emailed me back, and Debbie is coming on the pod.
Hell
there we go.
Debbie is coming on the pod.
We need Debbie's POV.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait. I can't wait.
So that once we schedule that'll be up. We have lots of interviews with people, and we just want you to stick around.
We might watch other shows. We may watch.
Come on in. Stick around.
Yeah.
Grab a Cosmo or two.
Yeah.
Grab two.
And have some fun.
And also, February 10th, 11th, and 12th, if you live in New York or in the surrounding area, I'm doing a solo show, 1 hour, all about living in New York City. It's stand-up and storytelling at the Under St. Mark's Theater. Get tickets. It's a small theater. I would love if some of you showed up. Some people came to our show at Union Hall. If you enjoyed that, come to this. It's going to be really awesome, and I would just love... I haven't done that much live stuff, and so I'm in a while, so I'm excited for that. So February 10th, 11th, and 12th in the East Village. Kevin James Doyle.
It's called Check the Box, right?
It's called Check the Box.
Yeah.
It's called Check the Box. Che Diaz is opening for me.
Totally.
So
everyone who comes and buys a ticket is going to get shotgunned afterward.
Yeah.
I will say that it is the type of comedy that is like funny, but then also kind of not funny at parts too. So it's like kind of Che Diaz type comedy.
So 50% of it is like Che Diaz.
50%
Yeah, exactly.
50% of it's not funny like Che Diaz.
Anyway, stick around. We love you all. Thanks so much for listening during And Just Like That, and enjoy this final episode.
Enjoy the final episode.
I'm kind of sad, guys.
I know.
But I'm actually hopeful and happy for the future.
Yeah, we got more stuff coming. All right, enjoy taters.
You're now listening to The Bradshaw Boys, a podcast where 3 relatively grown men binge the iconic HBO series Sex and the City. So dust off those DVDs and grab yourself a white wine or even a Cosmopolitan and settle in. Take it away, boys.
Welcome to the Bradshaw Boys, a podcast where 3 guys are watching And Just Like That. And just like that, I'm Cory Cavin.
I'm Kevin.
My name is Jon Sieber.
And we have a special guest with us today.
Why are you so down, Kev?
That this is the true end of a journey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When we were handed a lifeline by Michael Patrick King, we were drowning at sea. We were drowning at the sea of no content, and then
scrambling,
and then
rewatching old Sex and the Cities,
and then he threw out a lifeline, and then we grabbed it, and we said, "Oh my goodness, thank you! 10 more episodes," and that was a year ago.
Yeah,
and now we're truly at the end of the Sex and the City journey, and there's just something that tells me we're going to be left with such a good taste in our mouths.
This is
Absolutely.
this is like we were scrambling trying to get some of that old Sex in the City. We were like just like bad addicts. And then someone was like, no, we got a new drug coming out.
Yeah.
We got the new shit.
And it gave us a completely it gave us a completely different feeling, but we kept coming back for more.
Yeah.
And we're going back for the final dose
It's that Mary
tonight.
chain.
That's
It's
right.
like, do you like pure
Cocaine.
Cocaine.
cocaine? And then,
Cocaine.
yeah, if
If you wanna ride out, it's like someone covering cocaine, but it's like if you are in like going through a record store and you're just like, what the heck? This is like an El Salvadorian cover of Eric Clapton's Cocaine.
that sounds awesome.
I mean, I bet it'd just be like, dude, they have the record. They have Cream covers. This guy's the most popular guitarist in El Salvador. It's amazing.
I feel like that would be I feel like this is more like what's like a good, fun, exciting drug to do. And then in Just Like That has been like, if you like doing drugs, you'll really like Metamucil.
Is in Just Like That Kratom?
Kratom.
Dude, wait, hold on. I'm a big Metamucil
Actually,
fan.
John has
I'm
been
not
a
saying
Metamucil
You got to
guy.
be careful what you're saying right here.
I'm not
true.
saying Metamucil's bad. I'm just
my
saying
name's
it's
Kevin. I wrote an essay on why Chase stinks. Now I have the authority to
That's
shit
true.
talk Metamucil.
That's
I
true.
use Metamucil.
We do live in a post.
Sugar-free or normal?
Sugar-free.
There you go.
I'm not wasting fucking calories so I can shit better.
I don't take Metamucil. I did for a little while. You know what's crazy?
I could see you just being straight psyllium husk.
I probably would. I actually, you know what's funny is I have looked up, can you just do psyllium husk?
Yeah,
Because I wanted
of
a
course you
pure
can.
version. But that stomach diet I did, psyllium husk and Metamucil was off diet. They were like, don't do it.
I just think
Oh, gosh, we're in Just Like That. Look at this conversation.
I know.
We're an entire
Now,
series
here's
just
the
talking
deal.
about how
Here's the
it's
deal
like to
with
be
like
old.
products that are marketed towards older people.
yeah.
They're usually like really, really good stuff. Older people don't give a shit. I'm talking like retirement age. They
Yeah.
just want like the comfiest, the best tasting, the like it's just good stuff all the way around.
That's why I'm clarifying my
like
thing.
you stopped caring about identity. You just want like what's comfy and nice.
I mean that's why
Do the job.
it's
Yeah.
That's what this was. It wasn't bad. Metamucil's not bad. It's just a completely different.
What was Sex and the City? A Cosmo? Or a drug? It was a drug?
Cocaine.
Cocaine?
We do talk about cocaine for three guys that don't do cocaine. It's come up like a
It's come
lot
up
recently.
so many times.
But
But is there anyone who like publicly just like talks about their cocaine use? Most people like talk about after they were doing it.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Are any
yeah.
like regular coke addicts?
I think
like,
if you meet a lot of like cool young people who, I say this as an older person, cool young people who would be like, those people are really cool and they're gross. Like cool young people who are just unabashed about
Yeah.
partying. Because people that talk a lot about cocaine, I feel like, are not the kind of cocaine people you want to be around.
no.
You want to
Right.
be around the kind of people who are cocaine people who are doing cocaine. You're like, I think they're doing cocaine. I can't tell. They keep disappearing with really good looking people
Yeah.
and they come back and they are having great conversations
Yeah.
and they're so cool. Like it's like
What I'm saying-
somehow cocaine is helping them.
Yeah, Lexi Featherstone.
Yeah.
Exactly. The coolest.
Totally. She's the
That's
best.
Lexi Featherstone.
Do you think she's going to come back tonight? My prediction was that she'd be in this
100%.
new show.
100%.
Do you think we're going to get a montage of they're going to the original montage they had to cut Chris Noth out of was him walking in heaven and then her tripping and falling through a cloud out of heaven. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we saw some spoilers. I think Carrie's gonna dump Big's ashes somewhere, and Lexi Featherstone's gonna like come out of the earth, like
Yeah.
and just like soil's gonna be coming off her face.
New York is over. New York is back.
Wait, Lexi, are you okay?
Cocaine, sugar, and water.
Yeah, she's gonna be the guy
The
from Men in Black.
Vincent
Yeah.
D'Onofrio coming out.
Well, I mean, let's.
Cocaine and tequila.
okay.
Let's.
You think she'll pull the ghoulies and just flip, just rise up out of the toilet?
Do you guys remember Ghoulies?
No.
Great 80s horror movie.
Ooh,
Ghoulies. It's
hate horror
Ghoulies. They'll
movies.
get you in the end, and they come through the toilet and bite
Are
your
you
butt.
sure? Are you talking about Goonies?
No, not Goonies.
What's this episode called?
What is this episode called?
Seeing the Lights?
Seeing the Light.
Seeing the Light.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we had some predictions.
You know what we're not going to be seeing?
What?
The Big.
That's true.
That's true. This was the one we were supposed to see.
What if they
right?
just fuck it and burn it all down and it's just him tap dancing on the piano at FAO Schwartz for like 30 minutes?
That'd be
And
amazing.
just like just flirting with like the super young cashier, just being like, "Hey there."
It's just him doing friggin' his big eyes and his toodle fingers while playing like Moon River on the FAO Schwartz piano,
That's
knocking
so
little
funny.
kids out of the way.
I kind of would want nothing more than that.
All right, we had some predictions last time, and we're at. Let's set the table before we go into this.
Okay.
So Rock. Well, we know this from the preview, but Rock is going to have a
They mitzvah.
a Vay mitzvah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with Lily. I think her period's probably over. Maybe depends on. I don't know. But I'll say to say Lily's storyline's wrapped up.
Yeah.
Lily's period is over.
Heavy flow.
Hey Lily, your period is canceled. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's like Miranda wrap up, Carrie.
Yep.
What is the Carrie wrap up going to be? I mean, something to do. I think something to do with Big, because there's rumors of her in Paris
Yeah.
Yeah.
and them in Paris together. Maybe that's just a dream though. Or
Yeah.
a memory.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think if Big was going to come back, it's definitely going to be in some sort of memory, but he's not coming back now.
Yeah.
Carrie and Trig.
Aiden and Samantha are on the table.
Yeah.
Yay or nay?
I was big into. I was really gunning for. I was gunning for Aidan because Aidan. I went back and looked at articles this week. I posted something on the Instagram asking how people thought Aidan would come back, and I went back and looked at articles from last year, and there are these there's a whole John Corbett press train of him being
Really?
like, I'm in several episodes of the new series. There is
that like a
there's a
public-
page 6 article that says John Corbett confirms he is in multiple episodes of the Sex and the City reboot.
Is his publicist just like hitting themselves on the
No.
face, or
Maybe
just
he's
like
that cocaine person we're talking about.
One of our listeners, Katie
Katie
Kuchar,
Causey.
different Katie,
Oh,
but
different one.
she said because we always post this Aidan and Serendipity and say it's from Sex and the City, and she said post a clip from God's Not Dead 3, you cowards.
what's that?
It's
Is he
like
in a religious movie?
it's these series of movies where like Kevin Sorbo is like a professor, and he's just like he'll just be like, so scientifically I proved that God doesn't exist, and then there's like a Christian kid like in the and it's just like, I have faith, and then it's this movie about standing up to like atheism, and it's like a series of movies. God's Not Dead.
That's great.
Is Corbett in that?
And Corbett's in God's Not
Oh,
Dead
is he
3.
really?
Perfect.
We got to post that.
You got to.
So we gotta watch it.
Yeah.
We
Challenge
need to get
accepted.
we need to get Corbett and my religion professor from college, who ended up being one of the Quest for the Historical Jesus guys. We need to get him and Corbett on a pod together. Corbett and Bart Ehrman talking about the textual criticism of the New Testament.
But instead of Bible talk, we just talk about head circumference the entire time.
Crown
So
of
do you think
Thorns.
God-
Real quick, how big was Jesus' head? Was it bigger than Aiden's?
Let's
Really,
use
that's
Aiden's
huge.
head.
You'd call that intelligent design? Because I wouldn't. Yeah, let's go. We don't have tons of. Let's watch
I
this
can't
thing
believe
and
this.
talk
I'm
about it.
sad. All right, let's.
Yeah, this is a big moment. This is
I
a
know.
huge moment. We're coming to the finale of.
I want to
the
hear
reboot.
I want to hear 3 predictions from everyone on is holding the microphone right now. Just one, just whatever you're thinking right out of the gates. Any predictions?
I mean, I'm sticking with what I said earlier this week that we get. I wanted to say Aidan, but I say we get some sort of surprise wink at the old series.
Okay.
Something.
I think
I'm trying to think what.
I think Che Diaz is actually in like a very traditional straight cisgender relationship with a family and just always failed as a comedian and just went totally woke. They just find like a uncover a previous like comedy career that was just like and a journal that was just like, I figured out a way to success.
Oh,
and then
my gosh.
and then they get canceled.
What was Che Diaz's name before Che?
Cheryl.
Yeah, they'd be like, opening for Bill Engvall.
Yeah.
Cheryl Diaz.
Yeah, Cheryl Diaz
She's
was
like,
it.
man, it sucks to have to cook every night for my husband.
Yeah.
Every night we're going to have chicken and potatoes. We're going to have steak and potatoes. We're going to have beef potatoes. We're going to have turkey potatoes. What are we going to have Saturday? We're going to have potato leftovers. Potato leftovers. Cheryl Diaz.
and not Mexican, not
Cheryl
Latino
Davis.
at all.
No,
It's
she's
Cheryl
just like
Davis.
Cheryl Davis.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and Che's been like using darkening makeup, just canceled on a level
Oh, no.
that you never. It's just Rachel Dolezal
That'd be amazing.
meets, and then also has been like sexually assaulting fans like Louis C.K.
Wow.
It's like. It's just I think that's what's 100% going to happen in this episode.
What if that happens and then we get a cameo from real life and acting as himself in real life, Rachel Dolezal, and like Che is having a martini in camera pants and Rachel Dolezal is like, not so easy, is it? And then it's just a whole Rachel Dolezal talk about like getting through cancellation.
Yeah, and it's Cynthia Miranda just being like, this one internship fell through, and she's like, I got one for you at the NAACP. And then Miranda and Rachel Dolezal start doing like internships together.
And it just has Dr. Nia Wallace just doing like a skeptical face. The whole
Yeah,
time.
just so fucking pissed.
Nia Wallace is
Pissed.
the best skeptical
Oh,
face.
yeah,
by the way.
Yeah, pissed at Dolezal, pissed at Che for all of the.
Cheryl Davis. I just think Skipper's going to be in it.
Yeah, I
I'm
hope
just going
so.
Skip. I'm skipping.
Skipping.
All right.
Skipping it up.
Let's
Skipping.
let's watch it.
All right, let's go.
Katie, take us away. Land the plane.
Episode 10 Seeing the Light. Charlotte plans the ultimate rite of passage for Rock. Che throws Miranda for a loop. And Carrie finds closure. And now, back to the board.
If you're ready to be more productive and efficient in your mornings, listen up. Stop wasting time scrolling through endless articles online or getting lost in your email inbox trying to keep up with the day's news. Instead, listen to all the news you need in just about 10 minutes a day with the Newsworthy podcast. Not only are we fast, we also focus on staying fair and factual. So if you want to be informed, not influenced, the Newsworthy is here for you. And because we cover a wide variety of stories, from politics to tech to even entertainment, it's not just the doom and gloom stuff. Never feel uninformed, overwhelmed, or annoyed by the news again. Listen to one of the fastest growing daily news podcasts recommended by the likes of Harper's Bazaar and Podcast Magazine. In fact, Fast Company called the Newsworthy 10 minutes of well-spent listening and said the tone is fair, effortless, friendly, and trustworthy. Simply search for The Newsworthy in your podcast app right now to subscribe and listen for free. Search for The Newsworthy to get fast, fair, fun news of the day with The Newsworthy.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Bennett,
And I'm Danae Logan.
and we are soul sisters, seekers, and holders of sacred space who also happen to be psychotherapists. Through our passion for training in and lived experiences with depth psychology, yogic psychology, and mindfulness work, we developed a passion for supporting others in living their most authentic lives while also cultivating a fulfilling and rich relationship with the capital S self.
Every Wednesday, we attempt to demystify, destigmatize, and desensitize what really goes on both inside the therapy room and in daily life through soul-provoking conversations with fellow seekers, thought leaders, change makers, and even live coaching sessions with real people as they navigate the hard work it takes to be human.
So come join us because our podcast is for sure cheaper than therapy.
And we're back. We're back. We just watched it.
What was that called? Seeing the Light?
Seeing the Light.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. I do want to say something.
Start us off.
Well, here's what I want to say. I just want to say something because I know for the next 23 minutes, I'm not going to be able to say anything because Kevin's just been sitting there quiet, brooding.
No. I'm not.
So I just want to say anything right now.
No.
Get it in real quick.
I just want to get it in because it happened last episode.
It happened last episode, but you know, it's like the worst version of what I thought. So it is what it is.
What are you gonna say? What are you
I'm
saying?
so
No,
done
I'm
with
just
this
saying-
fucking series, and just like that, sucked so hard.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm so glad to be done with it for 1 year, and then I hope it gets a second. I just need a break from it.
Okay,
All right,
Cory,
John.
you were saying.
Oh no, I just said I wanted to get a word in edgewise
Oh,
of
yeah.
anything to say. I was making a joke saying I wanted to say something.
Say something negative about Rabbi Jen. You can't. Rabbi Jen ripped so hard.
Rabbi Jen ripped very hard.
Rabbi Jen was amazing.
Now
Now that's a magical character.
the podcast is cool.
What podcast? Carrie's podcast?
Sex and the City.
Yeah.
Dude, the whole scene
feel
at
like
the
we-
wedding where the producer's like, I'd like to produce your
Oh my
podcast. And
gosh.
Carrie's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It's like, you're a New York Times bestselling author.
Yeah, okay, wait. We have to stick to our system.
Yeah.
We have to stick to our system. We just John,
Okay.
you gotta do the thing, and then we just have to, and then you create the docket of where the stories.
Yeah.
All right.
We need to stick with our structure.
First scene, we have Carrie kissing Mr. Trigg. And it was an unemotional contract kiss. She saw it. She then calls Seema, who's just banging that,
Who's
like
hot.
smoking, looking hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of does the rude thing, just completely like ignores Carrie and just continues on fucking the guy, whatever.
Super lame.
And then Carrie's lamp is haunted and flicking.
Jen Kirkman.
Called it.
We haven't talked about that
We
on
have
the
a chat
pod
and
yet.
chew
Yeah.
where Carrie talks about the haunted lamp, and then the next scene is with Charlotte and Harry, where they hire the trans rabbi, Rabbi Jen, and Anthony. They taste Anthony's hipster challah, which is what challah and sourdough.
He's made of sourdough.
Does
yeah.
that
Sounds
exist?
fucking awesome.
You could make it probably. I mean, I've never made challah before. I mean, but I think you could do it. You just have to braid it.
That's the
You have to
biggest
have an egg
surprise.
wash. I don't know.
Like,
Let's see. I'm gonna do some research as we talk.
If I would have said like, I'll give you 1 to 5 odds. Has Cory made challah bread before? What would you have said?
I would say yes.
I would have said yes.
I've never made challah.
100 times. Is that the only bread you've never made?
No, there's tons of breads I've never made.
What?
There's a lot of breads
He
out
makes
there,
great
John.
bread.
You're just
Great bread.
You're a bread man.
I will make you some bread though at some point. I was thinking about bread today.
And then we have the scene where Miranda goes to Che's family gathering, and Che sings "California Girls."
Good
Dude.
lord, that was
And
Dude,
announces
it's
that
so
they got a pilot. But Sarah's a really good singer, right? So Katie said
Yeah.
Sarah's been on Broadway before.
yeah.
Yeah.
She won a Tony for they won a Tony for Spam-A-Lot. Thank you.
in
Thank you.
Spam-A-Lot.
Yeah.
That was their
Thank you.
breakthrough,
Mhm.
and role was in Spam-A-Lot.
Yep.
Which is, do you know what Spam-A-Lot is?
No.
It's the Monty Python and
Quest
the
for
Holy Grail.
Oh,
It's that as a musical.
That. By the way, that movie holds up.
Oh yeah, so funny.
Oh yeah,
So,
amazing.
Please.
I saw them in
Oh, please.
Spam-A-Lot actually.
Miranda goes and tells Dr. Nia Wallace that she is leaving her internship to go to Los Angeles. Kevin, settle down. And then Carrie has lunch with Big's brother, where he asks what is happening with Big's remains and offers a plot next to Big in the family crypt in Connecticut. Carrie then goes to Jackie's impromptu wedding. And instead of this scene bugged me, instead of "you may kiss the bride," they said "do whatever gets the most likes on Instagram."
Good lord.
And I was like,
My
this
God,
is
bothered
just
me as well.
okay. And then Carrie gets her Carrie Bradshaw's big break. She gets approached by a podcast
Oh
producer.
my God.
Could you imagine?
The guy who she's been working with for over a year now.
But could you imagine? What would you do? What, like your dreams
I'm
just
just
coming
like-
true?
I just want
Getting-
everyone to know we've been approached by multiple places to produce a podcast. You know what they say? They're like, we're like, what's in it? And they're like, basically, not just keep on building your audience. There's like nothing.
Can you record and then just send us the files?
Yeah. It's like,
Cool.
oh my gosh, that
Okay.
is so funny.
Then it's the mitzvah. That's kind of the big scene. It's Rabbi Jen is there. We have
Hot.
Rock not wanting to go out. So then
Robert Jen was
Charlotte.
smoking.
So then Charlotte does her Does Charlotte do a bat mitzvah then?
Charlotte
instead?
does a bat mitzvah for herself.
They have Dylan's Candy Bar.
Well-
Where did that take place?
That scene?
Yeah, it looks very familiar. I think we've worked an event at that space before.
I don't know. I'd have to look again with that in mind.
And then Carrie goes and scatters the ashes in Paris and texts Samantha.
Mm-hmm.
And they go meet up for a cocktail, a fabulous cocktail. And then Carrie records her first episode of the podcast. And instead of stepping her pussy up, she makes out with the producer.
Whoa.
She does.
She steps her
she steps
pussy
it
up
up.
right into a tricky workplace relationship.
I know. I like how that guy's like, I'd like for you to work for me.
Yeah.
So
Now
we can
I'm going-
fuck.
So, which is awesome. That's good old fashioned Sex in the City right there.
Yeah.
That is good.
In an elevator.
Yeah. Making out with
That
your
guy's-
boss.
A very attractive man. I don't know his name.
So many people called that early, and
Yeah.
so much of the series.
I believe
was-
I called that early at one point.
Yeah.
But then I took it back because I was like,
Well,
oh, it's not
because
going to happen.
so many things in the series. This isn't a criticism or there were just so many things that was like, oh, you're not weaving a grand narrative.
Yeah.
In a
Right.
lot of these, you're doing kind of one off, which is cool,
Right.
because that is like true to the series. So then that totally took me by surprise that they planted that so early.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I just want to say Carrie she really did the escalator sort of dating plan in terms of the status of men that she dated. She went from a furniture store owner
Yeah.
to New York's hottest financier
Yeah.
to the top of the mountain podcast producer.
Oh my gosh, dude,
Like she just kept on batting out of her league every single time.
and
Yeah.
she was like, Big knows the levels of the markets,
Mhm.
but this guy knows the levels of the audio.
This guy, Big is on the board of directors at several companies. This guy has a sound board to press fart noises on.
Hey, really good podcast, guys. Like,
That's his like only other line, right? His name is Franklin, I believe.
Franklin, like the puppet from Arrested Development.
Yeah, he's a one name. He's Franklin.
really?
Yeah, that's his name.
Dude,
With a
that'd be
awesome
Y.
if that was
Franklin
the
with a
actor.
Y.
The
Puppet?
actor was just like,
Franklin.
I'm Franklin.
What's up, I'm Franklin?
I'm Franklin.
Where do we want to start? Zendaya is Michi.
God, I wish Zendaya was in this.
Let's start with Seema.
All right. Seema is I like the fact that Seema has now, she didn't really find love. She just shacked up with Zohan. But
Yeah.
His name is Zed, right?
His name is Zed. Not
Dude.
far off from You Don't Mess with the Zohan.
Oh man.
I think
Do they have smoking floors in hotels anymore?
I remember
know.
once I
Maybe
was at
really
the
rich hotels.
I was at the Mall of America and
or La Quintas or really poor hotels.
Actually, really poor
I was
hotels.
at the Mall of America in Minnesota,
Okay.
and they're like, "Hey, do you want to make $50?" And I was like, "Sure." And I went in this back room, and I had to watch 10 minutes of "Don't Mess with the Zohan," and then fill out a questionnaire.
You just did
I
like
made $50.
audience
It was
screening?
great. Yeah, it was awesome.
That's
You-
great.
This
I
is
think I bought
underrated
an- I
movie,
think I
in
bought
my
an
opinion.
Orange Julius with it.
Nice.
with the exception of the fingering Che scene where Miranda's like or whatever she did. What
That was Lexi Featherstone coming back to life.
but why wouldn't they show a tasteful, like throughout the entire series, there's not a single, I guess there's Nia
Right.
Wallace, but
Yeah.
with Seema, I was like, doesn't it seem like you'd want to show these like older characters like having sex? Like, I feel like that's what the ramp up was. I was like, it would have been great, not even just because like they'd be hot because Seema's hot, but it's like show them having sex and then having a cigarette. That just seems so
Yeah.
weird. Have her in like,
So we got the downstairs neighbor's dick, and we got Harry's dick.
yeah.
That's like the two old person.
It just seemed,
Yeah,
I
that's
really
true.
liked the Seema storyline because it was like, you know, I'm giving money. I met this guy in a cool way. I get
Mhm.
what I want. I'm a power bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And then instead it was like, I don't know. I like to imagine that they never even had sex. She just gets together with that guy and just smokes in hotels.
Just gets a burger.
Yeah. I don't know. I was disappointed that they didn't show a little bit of the geriatric sexuality that we were all.
Yeah.
Not geriatric, I'm joking.
Are we supposed to think that like Seema accomplished, like fulfilled her character's arc from this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, because she finally got a man the way she wanted it. She I forgot her fake boyfriend's name. That her parents like Dennis.
The Dennis system.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, she got it. I mean, I was interested in the fact that Seema is sort of fulfilling the Samantha archetype for the series.
Yeah.
That she's just like, yeah, I'm sleeping with some guy, in a smoking floor that I met on the street, and he's a hot club owner, like that.
And without it feeling forced.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy, that you're like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of works.
Yeah.
Let's talk about...
You want a cigarette, boss? Hey, boss. Boss, you leaned over, you put a burn mark on my balls.
All right, ready? It's our favorite time. It's Zed talk.
Hey, boss.
Hey, boss. Hey, boss.
Hey, Zed.
Hey, boss, you want a cigarette?
I don't want to go to that club. I want to put your club in my mouth.
Let me get this straight. You're a boss lady.
I am a boss.
And you want me to put my wing wong in your mouth?
Yeah. Call me a boss again.
Okay, boss. It's talk.
Hey, boss.
Hey, boss.
Hey, boss.
Hey, boss.
Dude, I hope Zed gets his own spinoff series.
Oh, dude.
It's called Boss.
Hey,
boss.
It's like a 3-camera sitcom from the 90s.
It's just
Hey,
like,
boss.
someone's parked in front of the club again.
Who parked
like-
on my street?
It's like Blossom, where there's like one-liners. There's like phrases.
And right when he walks in, everyone's like, woo! And then he just like looks at it. He's like, hey, boss.
boss,
And they're
hey,
like,
boss.
That gives us the old Sex and the City juice we need. We need a Zed.
yeah.
We didn't get any Zeds this series.
Dude, we got a Zed now.
Man.
Dude, I bet Zed has turned that women's shelter into the hottest club.
Oh,
Absolutely.
dude.
And I bet he's made it so great. I bet that women's shelter's banging right now.
I feel like, yeah.
I feel like some people are like, you don't understand women's shelters.
No, I think I feel like, yeah. I'm glad that Zed and Seema are getting.
Hell yeah.
I am happy about that.
Let's talk about Nia Wallace. She's another kind of minor character that...
Wait, you mean Side-Eye Wallace?
Side-Eye Wallace.
Hey. I love Nia Wallace.
Uh,
I do. I really do. That sounded like I felt like I needed to say that, but I actually really do like her character.
you were referring to our opening bit when we were talking about Nia Wallace side-eyeing whatever her name.
Yeah, side-eyeing Cheryl Davis, the stand-up comedian who is now known as JDS.
So Nia and Andre are taking an emotional and physical break.
Dang.
Because he's on tour. Yeah. I thought that was interesting. She's like...
And she heard his music for the first
She
time.
heard-
She's like,
exactly.
oh, yeah, we're on a break.
Yeah.
Bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bing. All right, I'm Andre.
I'm
All
out.
right, we'll see you, man.
Rashad.
Oh, you forgot your hat. I want you to have it. No, I'm okay.
Nah, you
Thank
can take it. It's fine.
Just go ahead and put some hush puppies and some fried shrimp in there. looks like a basket of Long John Silver.
Oh my gosh.
They're taking an emotional and physical break.
Yeah, she kind of got a quick wrap up.
Like, I did like what she said, where she was like, I am worried that a baby we've never met before is calling the shots or something like that in our relationship. And that is interesting. But
Do you think that means there's an actual baby calling the shots? They just haven't met it yet. It just calls on the phone and is like, y'all need to take a break.
Hey, let me into your life and raise me and feed me. Let me suck your titties.
All right, I'm getting out of here, Naya. I've never met this baby, but I'm going on tour.
I gotta go on tour.
This baby's being sexually inappropriate to you. Sorry. So the line was,
John, is your child being sexually inappropriate to Katie?
yes.
Absolutely.
Dude, Mickey, for sure.
Sucking on her titties like you wanted to, calling me all the time. Okay, go ahead.
No, that's it. I just wanted to ask the question if you enjoyed that reason for them to split up, or if that made you say,
it was disappointing to me, and it's a theme that we will continue to talk about.
Disappointment?
Disappointment. No, it was disappointing to me because although I think that it is representative of truth, I think the show seems to be not hopeful about long-term commitment relationships. I mean, Harry and Charlotte have got that going on, and they seem to be pretty solid. But Naya and Andre, it was like, and listen, it happens. I know, I'm pretty sure I know people that. Oh yeah, I know people who have ended marriages for that reason.
I mean,
it's like they're on different pages.
Listen, we went out and had drinks with Candace Bushnell and a bunch of her friends who were in the Half Asian Life, and one of her friends looked me dead in the eye and said, "You will be unhappy and leave your wife one day." So maybe they're writing from a place of truth.
She also then disappeared into a cloud of green dust, and we're like, "Oh my gosh, that was like a witch fairy."
That was interesting.
That was crazy.
It was not this person, but there was another person there for you Real Housewives fans, and she was.
This person was
Countess Luann.
Countess Luann rips.
Countess Luann is fucking
Countess
awesome.
Luann was. I am a huge Countess Luann fan, and I'm feeling Giovanni right now.
Ready? Dude, the fact that this wasn't the end of the credits.
It should have
I
been.
feel like this is the song that Seema fucks too.
Yes.
There you go, boss.
Just like a nice
Okay, boss.
Okay, boss.
Deville cigarette.
boss.
Just feeling Giovanni.
Work my clit. Okay, boss.
Okay. All right, boss. Oh wow, that's smoking.
I'm coming. Okay, boss.
Okay, boss. Okay, boss.
Okay, let's talk about Rock. I want to cover Rock. Rock had a big part in this episode with the they mitzvah.
Rabbi Jen.
First of all, Rock got owned by Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
I love that scene.
Wait, what happened?
When Anthony came in and took away Rock's controller and was like, "Get your shit together.
Yeah.
You're disappointing your mom. Get your shit together." And like that was like awesome.
That was
But then Rock didn't go through with it. And I got to say, I disagreed with Harry's parenting style a little bit. When Harry was like, "Do you want an Oculus?
Oh yeah.
Can I get you this?
Yeah, I did think
what
that
would
was
do to get you to go out there?" And you got to ask yourself, Harry, maybe that behavior is what's causing Rock to not go out there.
I kind of did want. I did at that point. Outside of anything that Rock is feeling, there was a thing where I was like, they're doing some not great parenting here. And also,
in my opinion,
I appreciated Rock saying like, I don't want to be known as like Rock basically having question of identity, but basically being like, I'm in a confused place. I don't know what I am in any of these things. Jew, Christian, like there was a thing of.
That's where I think Harry could have said, you are a part of this family, and the family is important, and this is important to our family. And although you are confused right now, your mother and I want to respect that and nurture that, but this is more about the family heritage and what it means to be a Goldenblatt.
Yeah, this is bigger than you in a sense. That's another theme that I had seen with the show is that I think the show is not giving enough credit, at least to, I don't know if you have to give credit to viewers, but I think there are viewers that are more into, I don't want to say the word necessarily traditional, but there are viewers that are into, I mean, I don't know, for lack of a better word, I'll just say traditional, but traditional rituals than that the show thinks. I feel like the show is trying to constantly say, like, we're throwing everything out. And it's like, there's tons of people that hold that open viewpoint that are also like, I want my kid to be bar mitzvahed, or I'm glad I was bar mitzvahed. Or there's people that are like, I want to have a wedding in a church, even though I don't believe any of this.
Yeah.
And I think this show feels like it needs, and it's a show, so it makes sense. But the show seems like it feels like it needs to come down and make this hard stance where it's like, we don't need any of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but there's a lot of people that I feel like Transparent actually does a very good, the show Transparent does a good job of kind of walking this line of trying to trash tradition and evolve, and then realizing there's a reason that people come back to ritual and things like that because people do.
What about the sequel, Trans Rabbi?
Well, and also Rabbi Jen wasn't transparent.
If there were a show with Rabbi Jen and Boss and Zed, it would be so sick.
That'd be amazing.
I think
buddy comedy.
I think you're right though, because I think that like anytime, I mean that's what's really weird and I don't know what the word is. There's a disconnect because it's like there's a disconnect when you do this with like not an agenda, but clearly they had an agenda and they needed an agenda because there's no reason to bring the show back if you're going to be like nothing's changed. I totally get that, but I feel like the success of anything is like bringing in the new and a commitment to the old. And when that doesn't happen, you end up with the situation that it's like, oh, this crazy new relationship that doesn't ring true or whatever. Like I feel like you have to take the new things where you can bring them in with respect to the old, like what you're saying, because
do you think that this is opening the door with her new podcast? I know I'm kind of subjecting it with Carrie's new podcast being called Sex and the City, that the future version of this show will be more familiar to viewers.
I think what would be really cool now, we should table this and talk about it later, but we should talk about what a season 2 would look like. Because I feel like the table is set for such a fucking great series. That almost could be the same thing. You could bring in new people all the time because you could do like what's that show, New Yorker, the love thing on Amazon?
Oh, it's the Modern Love. It's based off the podcast.
And like you could almost see Carrie leading people through like the lives that would honestly be like doing a brand new thing. Like I was thrilled by the end of this episode.
Me too.
Like, man, and they have to, they're clearly reading like articles, but they could not make these same mistakes they made again because they made a lot of positive. This was not a 1 out of 10. No. It was not the worst series of all time.
Right.
And it just seems like they're in a much better position to do that. But like, think about online dating happens or whatever, and people can hook up more than ever. And now we're a few years into it of online dating, and now there's just new apps in order to have traditional
online dating places are now organizing physical meetups.
Yeah. And so I feel like that's
which is amazing.
Yeah, physical meetups, and then you're back to where everything thrives in its best. That it's like bringing the old, and then also or bringing the new, and then there's also the old. That's like here's things that work and have worked for thousands of years. And I feel like that's kind of where how I felt with. I mean, that's why the original Charlotte Harry storyline was so interesting because it brought that in such like a great way.
Yeah, and the fact that Harry was like, I don't know if I would say he was totally new, but he was, traditional in the way that he was like, well, I'm a Jew and this is what I have to do. But he was also like a modern New York guy. I don't think he was not a Zed, but he was definitely like it was. But he was, but Harry was like. He was like a New Yorker that was like into the Mets. He was a modern New Yorker who was tied to tradition, which is a very New York archetype of a Jewish man at that time.
I'm so pissed that I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you don't have a button that's just, hey, boss.
I know.
Because the joke came up here.
I know. I was going to make one of Zed, but it was just going to end with, you don't mess with the Zohan. I don't have one for him.
But I think you're right, and I actually think where I think they got this was like because it was pretty.
What do you mean the they mitzvah?
Where they I think did a good job. Like when the trailer came out, there was like we found a trans rabbi. It was like, oh my gosh,
I know.
But then the execution of it was like that's fucking cool. And I'd like to hear more
Rabbi
from
Jen, I think, like completely carried the idea of a they mitzvah.
Yes, and
because they went for it so hard. Like if Rabbi Jen would have just been a character that was in the background, I would have been like, they're really just grasping for straws here.
Yeah.
But having her be so funny and silly and like
and then
out
give
there,
wise
good advice.
Yeah.
Like using that magical archetype that you've talked about.
Yeah.
Like was like seriously, it was really it felt like the correct usage of that trope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I did think was funny about Rabbi Jen walking out of the stall and interjecting in the conversation was I think we talked about it in the pod before, but like we know people of the cloth, and there's a guy that we know who is a priest, I guess, and he has several times. He even told me one time, he was like, "Oh man, people want advice all the time, and I just like stay out of it because I'm like,
yeah,
listen." Like,
that's what's great about Rabbi Jen.
Like
though.
he was like, just because I think sometimes you have to just go through life, and I'll be there alongside with you, but sometimes I'm going to give you the wrong advice. And I love that Rabbi Jen was just like, coming
don't
in
know
here,
you.
sticking my nose in, like I'm don't know
hearing
you.
this. I hear it a lot, but this is a special
Exactly.
relationship.
That being said, yeah, Rabbi Jen has some good spidey senses for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
And
hot.
And
I couldn't have a rabbi that hot.
Rabbi Jen's got to go to Bushwick though to do a wedding in Bushwick.
That's fine. I'll meet you in Bushwick.
Yeah. I'll meet you in Ridgewood. See, if they were really tapped in, Rabbi Jen,
that is
Rabbi
right.
Jen would be like, I got to go to Ridgewood.
That's true.
Bushwick is like
Bushwick's over.
Bushwick is
people.
like Bushwick is where Seema and Zed were.
Yeah.
Hey, boss, let's go to Bushwick.
Let's talk.
Hey, wait, before we get off
Yeah.
that though, I do think it was interesting seeing the decor going on there. Harry's
Rainbow
yarmulke, and also Rock's choice of suit.
Yeah.
Like was a ridiculous. Like when you think about what Rock was wearing, it was like kind of cool, but I feel like Rock had their own fashion thing going on. I think it really warrants. Let me make sure we're gonna do this correctly. It warrants a soundboard.
Rock Golden Blast. Stand-up comedy fashion alert.
Rock was wearing a Bernie Mac suit. Rock was strolling up in like a Steve Harvey stand-up comedy oversight. I ain't scared of you, motherfuckers.
I thought that Bernie's Mac suit had his face all over it, though, right?
That's his jeans. His jeans of his face. It was more of a Steve Harvey suit. It was a little bit Paula Poundstone.
Steve Harvey.
I know it is so funny.
Maybe I should have gone with Steve Harvey in that one.
But Steve Harvey doesn't have a good one line of that. It's super recognizable.
I mean, Steve Harvey's thing now is just
faces on
Family Feud.
Which, don't get me wrong, if I'm scrolling Facebook and they're like, we want to keep John on Facebook for a good 35 minutes.
Oh yeah,
just get Steve Harvey reaction videos coming in. I'm not going to bed.
The true equality of the genders and the sexes and the races are when it's like it's great that it's great that you're questioning your gender, Rock, and you dress horribly now. Okay. You're dressing like a man would dress, which
why isn't Anthony saying something here?
I will say they have thrown Rock into a Timothée Chalamet basketball shorts character.
Yeah.
Like Rock just sitting there playing Fortnite, being like, I don't know, bro. I don't want to do my bat mitzvah.
I know.
Rock looks like a side character in a Paul Thomas Anderson 80s movie about boys.
Yeah.
It's don't you think the message that they didn't want to do, the fact that they made it a they mitzvah and have rainbow colored yarmulkes and have this whole theme alludes to the fact that Rock really cared about it. Really wanted it a certain way.
Yeah.
I'm only going to do it if we have a trans rabbi.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't really make much sense that they're not into participating in it.
Unless the thing was
that's because it's true to life. It's like parents that are so thrilled and excited to have a gay kid so they can live out their gay fantasies of being like, oh, I don't have boring straight kids.
Yeah.
That is totally how
Charlotte and Harry would have.
Not Charlotte and Harry, but that. But I'm not saying they played it that way. I think that's kind of the writers getting excited to do it. I don't think they saw what you saw, which is probably true. It's like a little disconnect. But I guess bat mitzvahs are kind of for the parents anyway, unless you get Nicki Minaj there and then the kids get into it, you know?
Yeah, and they were very true in the sense like the Dylan's Candy Bar and stuff. Like there's so, I mean, none of us are Jewish, but like there's so many.
Any comments on Brian Fellow's outfit this time?
Oh well, with her.
I actually liked it. The blue jacket and the turban.
The turban that she looked like Shazam from the Shaq movie, which is like had the huge like jeweled
Isn't
turban.
Shazam? Isn't that a one of those things that never actually happened? The Mandela effect.
Oh, maybe it is.
I think it might be. You can correct me on that, but there's one of those movies that's a Mandela effect that never happened that people just thought did.
One thing I want to ask you both. Oh, and actually, Shazam is the movie that stars. But there's another one. Never mind. It's the one that stars the dude who was in the show Chuck. Anyway, we're thinking of another thing. I do want to ask you. This is related to the show. What did you think of the turn of the fixing it by having Charlotte do a bat mitzvah she never got to do? At first, I was like, this is a little cheap, but then I was like, that's very Sex in the City.
Yeah,
to be like,
it was very Sex in the City.
You know, you come around and Charlotte does it. And then she becomes a woman.
What did Charlotte remember when Charlotte became?
We have to. I'm gonna put a hard turn down here because we have a lot left to talk about.
All right.
I want to do this as quickly as possible.
Kazam. That's all I'll say.
That's Shaq.
Because I think a lot of people we know how Kevin feels, but I want to talk.
You don't know how I feel.
Jay and Miranda. Yes, I do.
You know.
You said at the beginning of our discussion that you hated this series, and it was worse than what you thought was going to happen.
It was worse than when my penis was covered in boils. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. It wasn't worse than that. It was the equivalent.
There's a lot of people listening that don't know the whole story and just think you have boiled dick now.
Well, go watch the 30-Year-Old Virgin. I'm not fucking telling this shit for
boiled.
free.
Kevin Boyle.
Someone watched my special and messaged me, so go watch it. It's on Amazon.
Shay, I want to talk Shay and Miranda.
You guys give your thoughts. Now you know where the story came from.
I was actually completely fine with it until Carrie magically was okay with Miranda doing this.
Yeah.
Miranda, I don't have a problem with Shay forcing Miranda to re-examine her life and to potentially make decisions that are feeling un-Miranda-like. That's totally fine with me. I can't abide by Carrie just shrugging it off and being like, she's going to go to LA. Like, Carrie is a good enough friend that she would have treated Miranda the way Miranda treated her when she went to Paris with Petrovsky.
Well, it was the same exact conversation.
Exactly.
And I know that there's no way that they didn't, they had to have been doing that on purpose a bit.
Yeah.
To just be like,
but then she gave the wrong advice.
She did give the wrong advice. But there's a line that's exactly the same where she says, what are you going to do in LA? And she said, what did she say? Like, drink green juice. She said something like, what are you going to do in LA? Do this all day? And Miranda says to her in Sex and the City, what are you doing in Paris? Eat croissants all day?
It's like love to eat croissants all day.
They're the best. It's literally like an archetype of the same thing. But I know what you're saying. I think another problem that I have with this series is that conflict is wrapped up way too conveniently and easily, and no one really, like, at least Nia Wallace, because I think that they're not giving a hopeful picture of marriages, and some of that is true to life, but at least that leaves you with a thing where it's like she's got to work some stuff out from a problem that's been building in her relationship. The Che, and I think you didn't totally allude to this. Well, you didn't. I don't think you said this in your essay. You tell me, but the Che thing, it's like, it still feels like we're waiting on some time bomb that just keeps being like, oh shoot. And then they're just like, yeah, cool. Like the Che setting up to, be Big Bad Voodoo Daddy or whatever. And she did her fucking cabaret.
Suit Riot.
Yeah, it looked like Che looks like she's in the band Social Distortion and she carries amps for them. Sorry, they look like they carry amps. Like, Che has embraced rockabilly greaser style, which, a lot of who's the actor in Orange Is the New Black that put up that TikTok that was so funny. It was like, I'm not Che Diaz.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, that's a popular style, but when Che walked up with that freaking Brian Setzer microphone,
oh my gosh,
it was such a, but that was a perfect opportunity to be like, What's
am
happening?
I doing here?
What's happening, Abuela? What am I doing here? And then for the world to fall apart, and it didn't. And I think I agree with your point of view in that, and what you're saying too, John. I think that things happen too easily, and it needs to be like Che admitted they were a narcissist, and then Miranda, and I think the same thing happened in the diner in last episode when Miranda was like, "I'm the girlfriend," and Che gives her this. Che gives Miranda a weird look. And then they're like, "You screwed our friends," and they give each other weird looks. But then those fuses that are lit, nothing ever happens, and I don't think anything's ever going to happen.
I don't know.
Them.
I think L.A. for next season is what we thought Cleveland was going to be.
Maybe so. Maybe they're teasing it out.
It will be because of that. The response, it wouldn't have been if the response was not this.
Well, yeah, but the response wouldn't have been this if it was written differently. The response is only this because it was written in a way that...
This is written very true to life because Miranda's never been with a woman before. And as someone who's been with women, we do some crazy things for pussy. Okay? So this actually completely lines up with the lengths people will go to when it's good.
I know several guys that have acted exactly like Miranda has.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for a trans rabbi in a bathroom talking them off a ledge, they would just...
I'll turn down this internship.
Yeah, I'll go back to your place in Ridgewood and then cab home in the morning when I work.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think it was bad. But I want to talk also about this is officially the end of Carrie Bradshaw and Big. The ashes have been dumped into the river. We had the dream sequence. The light was haunted.
I love that they cut his visuals, but his voice is still there. Like,
yeah.
Hey, his voice is still there?
Yeah.
It was like they were just like.
Wait, I thought that was just the.
No, it even said in the subtitles "big," and then it said the word that he said.
I can't be visually in it.
Wait, what did he say?
I don't know.
Girls that didn't want to.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think I don't know exactly what he said, but he said like, "Hey, it was something."
That's why I just thought it was weird to.
Because I thought it was just the lyrics of that song. It wasn't.
No, there was one line that was him actually talking.
Raul, pull around to the bottom of the bridge. Raul, I'm out of scotch.
I'll pull it up now.
I need some jaywalks.
Let me pull it up now, and we'll see. We can address.
But what were the thoughts? This is the end. He's not buried in his crypt in Connecticut. He's dumped into the
Seine. She dumped him into the Seine.
Yeah.
Did she check with him that's what he wanted?
Men, you cannot dump those ashes there. This is the Seine. This is Paris.
This is so fucking romantic. You fucking Americans, get your fucking shit and go back.
It would be that, and then it would be like, get those poor people out of Paris, the yellow vest. Get them out of here. All these immigrants. I hate them.
Yeah. Just like, that'd be so funny.
Paris is not as romantic as you think. There's a lot of political turmoil.
Yeah, especially
a lot of social things going on right now.
Dude, Zed would not have fun in Paris. They would kick him out. They'd be very pissed.
Hey, boss.
They're very anti-Islamic.
Hey, boss.
What's going on here?
But
boss.
I think... I think like Big is so over that it didn't have the emotional payoff because not even because of all the real stuff, not even because of the real not even because of the real what's it called? You know, the Chris Noth allegations.
Right.
But because it was 10 hours ago that he died. It was 10 hours of TV ago. And it's sort of like...
And it's been a year in the show, too.
Yeah. And it seems like it didn't have the payoff for me. And it was also like... Was Paris... I guess it was so important. I don't know. It didn't have the payoff for me, but maybe that's because I was like honed in on the fact that he's cut and the fact that this... And that kind of spoiled... It was like getting ready for something. When I was here, I was like, oh yeah, they're just going to cut him. I know, you know?
Yeah. It was like every New Year's party I've ever been to.
That's fucking hilarious.
And you're just like super pumped, and then you go and you're like, this sucks.
I'm so tired.
I'm so tired.
I should have stayed at home.
This was so expensive, and the lines for the drinks is horrible. And I know
I paid $130 to be here,
and I've only had time to get 3 drinks.
I came with this like. It was a group of friends that my wife knew, but I don't know any of these people.
The owner of the space keeps coming up to me going, hey, boss.
Hey, boss. Hey, boss. You smoke? You have a light? I know we miss this stuff all the time, but I think it was a pretty massive fashion moment that she was in the dress. And then also she had a Judith Lieber Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
That she was carrying around her dead husband. Dead husband in the tower.
What if there was like
Excuse me, ma'am, can I, madam, I need to search your purse. Oh my God, il est mort. Oh, a dead man in here. Oh,
could you see some Parisian man smoking a cigarette and without thinking, ashing his cigarette into the purse? That's my husband.
Okay. Here, let's hear if we hear big. That's the song.
Yep.
By Todd Rundgren. Hold on. Okay, I'll see. Hold on, I'll just listen to it and wait.
Okay.
So right now what's happening is Kevin is watching and just like that on his phone. And we're waiting for him.
It's a beautiful dress.
For him to
it is a beautiful dress.
do some reporting.
All right, maybe not. Wait.
No, stop. No, keep talking. That was
what happened?
I don't know. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't.
He did.
He said something?
He said something.
If you know what Big said, this is gonna be like the end of a Lost in Translation. It's like, what did Big say?
I mean, her dress is beautiful.
Yeah.
But I do think that if you are it must be annoying to live in Paris and see all. Well, I guess it's the same as New York, but
yeah, it's the exact same as going to Soho.
But in New York, people are like, wow. But people don't come to New York for like this like weird, ethereal, hard to explain like romance that must happen.
Yeah,
they come here for, like tourists are annoying here. But I bet in Paris, if you like grow up, you just see people dressed in like doing dramatic shit like that, and you just be like, gosh, like this fucking city needs to do better with like they're thinking about the municipal things, and it's just like you dolled up with your big gloves because of some fucking representative thing of the Seine. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Although I will say Paris in general is it's like a romance city on level 10. Like New York has its own romance. New York has, I would say, magic. Paris has romance.
Yeah.
And I think they both have equal, like they both have that. But Paris is just like it's like you're watching an old French movie all the time.
Yeah.
And it also has those things that we were saying where there are social things and there are just things where it's like, oh yeah, it's also 2022 and it's not Amelie all the time, but it definitely has Amelie happening during the day.
I'm agreeing with you. I would be that way too.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you were a full-on born and bred lifelong Parisian and you would see that shit all the time.
Oh yeah,
you know
totally.
what I mean?
Yeah. What'd you think of the chat and chew where Carrie was talking about what she was going to do? I want to talk real briefly. Talk about this chat and chew, and I want to talk about the Paris trip that was supposed to happen.
Oh yeah, where she just pulled the rug out from Charlotte.
And Charlotte, like Miranda and Carrie become okay with each other, so Charlotte just
ripped out of a 3-day free trip to Paris.
Yeah, and then Charlotte's okay with it, but Charlotte probably 2 days later would be not okay with that. She would be resentful about it. I was too. I was like, they just took this because Carrie's just like, you know what?
Actually, if Miranda can't come, no one can come.
Exactly. She's just like, Charlotte and I aren't that good of friends. And Charlotte's just like, I need to get out of the house. I'm tired of putting tampons on my kid. Take me to Paris.
Yeah.
I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Shut up. I'm gonna listen. You know what I'm gonna do? I was gonna buy your ticket. Instead, I'm gonna buy a $7,000 dress.
Yeah. Take Charlotte and Anthony. Bridge. If you don't want Anthony there, he can go do it. Drink some coffee and meet up with after.
Who would you want to in this series? Who would you want to hang out with besides Anthony? Because he's obviously.
I was about to say Anthony.
Who are you inviting to a party?
Chris Jackson.
I'm sorry, Chris Jackson.
For sure, Chris Jackson.
Chris Jackson from this series.
Andre.
I would invite.
I'm inviting Chris Jackson just for AV things.
Lizette.
invite
Lizette for sure.
I bet Lizette would be. I bet Lizette would just be like a fun hang.
Harry Golden Dong.
Golden Dong.
For sure.
I would like to hang with Rashad. I bet Rashad would be fun to like go to some bars with.
Yeah. And I feel like he's a musician, so he smokes weed.
Oh yeah.
He has and good weed.
Is his last name Andre? I keep saying Andre.
Andre Rashad.
Rashad.
But I think he's a double first name. Andre Rashad.
Nia Wallace I wouldn't invite because I feel like everyone would be talking. She would bring up something like super intense.
That's
Did
true.
you hear about like the murder rate in like this neighborhood? And it's like, we're trying to hang.
Hey, sorry, Naya. We're come on.
We're trying to decide who gets to be Yoshi in Mario Kart.
No, I thought that it was an interesting conversation at the Chat and Chew where Carrie kind of got afterlife shamed for thinking that Big was in heaven, and Miranda in kind of classic Miranda form,
godless.
Yeah, exactly. Miranda, who is just godless, throwing out any norms that she can, and then she talked to the Easter Bunny. But I think that was kind of a
Carrie Bradshaw. Afterlife alert. Big in
Big in heaven.
Can you play any more? Is that you singing?
Just listen.
You can hear it when he says
so
big. You can hear Cory say big.
That was definitely a
Carrie Bradshaw. Afterlife alert. Big in
Big's in heaven.
Oh my gosh.
I think I kind of nailed the timing and the tone of that song.
I think you definitely did.
Big.
That was her afterlife alert, though, for real.
Dude, it is so funny and weird and disconnected to like just Miranda had her own version of just being an insufferable downer for all 6 seasons. And they threw that out for this series to have her be like in love. And she's just like, even when she's at the height of love, she's just like, oh my gosh, anything can happen. Oh, I've never felt this way. God's fucking not real.
I know.
Loser.
I know.
It's like,
she's just like bringing Nietzsche to the chat. I know. Like, come on, Miranda. Good Lord.
Dr. Nietzsche Wallace.
Dr. Nietzsche Wallace. Miranda, I don't know if I can have a baby. And God is dead.
Oh, man.
Ubermensch. That is so funny.
That's so shoehorned.
Did we miss anything with
No,
this?
I think we covered the whole
This
series.
is fucking awesome.
We covered the whole series.
This is great. Let's rate the series. Let's Cosmo rate the series.
We're gonna Cosmo rate the episode and the series.
No, just the series.
Can I say one more thing about Che? It's not about the story thing.
Yeah,
It's
because
about-
I will say I kind of busted you bulls at the beginning, and I kind of like want a little more. I don't feel like we really got a ton from you on some of this. And you wrote an essay about Che this week.
We'll talk about it on the other one.
Oh yeah, we're doing a discussion one on the main feed.
Questions.
Well, but what I was going to say is that sometimes you get too big for your britches. You know, like when you make a sketch into a movie and it's like it didn't work. Sometimes it works.
You talking about the Pat movie from SNL?
Yeah, or like Superstar. There were some that were good, and then there were some that weren't.
Yeah,
and I feel like
love Julia Sweeney, by the way.
MPK does like there's something in his head that I think like his dream director head that is just like, when I have all the money, you know what we're gonna do? We're not gonna do a silly little pilot of Sex and the City. When I have all the money one day, I'm gonna have all 4 girls on stage singing I want to be a natural woman. And like it's like this is the fucking worst thing I've ever seen when they're all doing that. And then to have this, like singing California, like why aren't you singing Katy Perry or something from the past fucking decade?
Yeah,
it's clearly from the brainchild of like an old man. You know, there's just like that. It's like, oh, and they're singing the Beach Boys because they're going to California. Why? Because it's pilot season. It's like they don't even fucking make shows like that anymore.
I know, it's true.
And I was like, why? Anytime people sing in the show, it is fucking horrible.
It really
even
is.
if you win a Tony Award, even if you're the best, it's like there's no way for that not to be cringe.
Yeah.
Even when it started, I was like,
such a good point.
Oh, it was so cringe.
But
too.
I do think it's like when a director or somebody like gets their chance, they're like, I've got to do this thing I've always wanted to do, and it's like, Yeah, but you probably shouldn't have. So that was it. All I just had to address the singing.
No, that makes sense.
Let's rate the series.
Okay.
Let's rate the series and put this thing to bed.
And the episode.
Series and episode?
Two separate
ratings.
All right.
Okay.
Kev, I'll go first. I'm going to give this episode a 3.25. No, a 2.75. It wasn't my favorite. It was a little heavy-handed in a lot of areas, and I don't know. It just like wasn't the funniest. I didn't laugh a ton. The series, however, I really enjoyed, mainly because of this. Because I don't know. It's just so hard for me to remove like being caught up and engaged with the show as it was happening. Like Kevin made memes that were actually like relevant in the cultural zeitgeist, which was really fun. Like it's not us being like Len Schneider from like 20 years ago. Like we were part of something that was unfolding.
Yeah.
And that felt really good. So I have to give like the show and this experience a high rating, probably like a 4.25. But I'm more excited for season 2 than I thought I would be.
Yeah. I'll give this episode a 3, and I give the experience. I would give the rating of the series a 2.75, and I would say that I learned more from watching the series about thoughts that I had than anything. So it was like I was more engaged watching this and talking about it than almost anything, because hearing what people's thoughts are and hearing this. And it was also fascinating. I've talked about it ad nauseum, but it was fascinating. Like Sex and the City fan base is like, I don't know, it's like Star Wars for girls. Do you know what I mean? Like
Totally.
It's like when they fucked up things in Star Wars, like people are like, that is not true. And it's fascinating to be I've never been a part of a fanhood like that. And and I don't.
Bro, Jar Jar Banks, the original Che Diaz.
Oh my gosh, that is so true.
Dude, I texted John. I cut it from my essay, but I had like a thing about fanhoods and like when something goes wrong and I was
say it. You can do it. You can say it.
I had they Banks.
Oh my god, you should have kept that in.
They Banks. But I think it's like. I think it's so cool to...
Misa love Miranda.
I think it's so cool. We're in such a unique time to be able to talk in this way, not on the water cooler. And it was so cool to be a part of this experience. We tried to get the Reddit going for Sex and the City during the podcast for so long. And now there's an Just Like That Reddit that is fucking fascinating. People, regular day-to-day people... are fucking smart.
Yeah.
People that are just like, the internet is so smart and cool. And I if it weren't for the Che Miranda storyline, I really think they did so many amazing things.
Yeah.
I just think they torpedoed that. But the whole experience, like, you know, I was being dramatic and joking, but it's been great. And of course, these are like some of the best pods we've done because it's been like fucking energetic.
Yeah.
And be like nervous in a good way of like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So
this episode, I give it a 3. The entire experience, I like what Kevin did. The episode, I give it a 3. The show itself, I think I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Okay.
And the experience, that's weird. I was going to give the experience a 4. I kind of would want to just say 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds a little weird to just be like, I give the experience a 5. But I mean, no, a 4. I give it a 4 because I do think it's honest to be like, I think we were like, is this going to turn out like the Arrested Development one where it's kind of like, that was great to have a little bit more, but no one's going to go back and watch this. But there is something nice about this being back in the zeitgeist again, and that I've had so much fun with us doing it. So that makes me want to say I want to give it a 5.
Hell yeah.
I'll just give it a 5.
There you go.
I will say my prediction that I really thought somehow was going to happen, even though it didn't really work, but I thought Aidan was going to be in and he was not in. And I think for that, he deserves his own soundboard.
John Corbett
What's up? Where you been? Who'd you see?
is a liar.
You broke my heart!
That's my message to John Corbett.
John Corbett
You broke
is
my heart.
a liar.
He's a
A
liar.
fucking liar.
He's a liar.
Well,
God's-
thank you so
God
much
is
for
dead.
for joining us. We love you, patrons, so much. We're coming out with a bunch of hot new shit. We're coming at you with those rom-coms.
Steaming.
And bromcoms.
Bromcoms.
It's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah.
Listen,
We're gonna read it and talk about it.
Bhagwan, cult leaders.
We'll have a new episode out next week.
Yeah.
Also, since this is going to go out tonight, I should have said this at the beginning. I have shows next weekend, February 10th, 11th,
You never
and 12th.
cleared pitching your personal stuff for those.
You clear this?
No, I'm just kidding.
February 10th, 11th, 12th in the East Village at Under St. Mark's Theater, and it's on the Instagram. But if you live in New York, please come. It's a small theater, and I'd like some people there, and it's a new show, and it's. I mentioned I have a story about Sex and the City in it.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so if you
Wait, let me see
live in the area,
if what
please
night
go.
I'm gonna come. Oh, I can't. It's next week. I'm gonna be out of town. Damn.
Oh, that's good. I'll do it more.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Later, taters.
Later, taters.
The Bradshaw Boys stars Cory Cavin, Jon Sieber, and Kevin James Doyle. The show is produced by Jeremy L. Balon. For more information on the guys, check out their website at bradshawboys.com, on social media at The Bradshaw Boys, and if you see them in the street, tip your glass. Thanks for listening.